In this video, you'll be shown how to submit a request to have a new supplier created in Workday. If you are trying to create a requisition and you come across the supplier field and realize that you're not able to locate the supplier within the tenant, the first step you should do is reach out to accounts payable and find out whether or not that supplier indeed exists in the tenant. Maybe you're just not putting in the proper information to get the desired results. But if it's the case where the supplier does not exist in the tenant, or you just happen to have a supplier that you know is brand new, that you just recently called for the first time and want to do business immediately, and you know they're new, the first thing you need to do is to put in a request to have them set up within Workday. And that request is known as a supplier request. So the task for that is to create a supplier request. So in Workday, this will be your home screen. In the top left-hand corner, you have the search bar. Within the search bar box, you click in there, create supplier request. Now you're able to type in the first few letters of each word separated by a space, and if you notice, that will begin to give you options from which you can choose. So in this instance, you need to select the create supplier request. Select that. It will open up to the form that you will use to create the supplier. You notice you have your supplier request here. All you need to do as a mandatory field is actually type in the name of that supplier. So let's put this name in for the sake of instructions. We're calling them one-time returns. And the other thing you need to do is you need to attach documentation. So the only two things you need to do here is put in the name of the supplier as you know it, and you need to make your attachments uploaded. Now, the attachments that are required, mandatory, is definitely a completed W-9 from the supplier, because we will not be able to process this without that. That document will give us the legal information we need in terms of their name and their tax identification number that we need to set them up. Also, what would be required would be a copy of an agreement or a contract between us and them if they are going to provide a service that has a pre-approved, pre-agreed upon amount per hour. So if you have someone that you're bringing on board that you'd like them to be a therapist, let's say, and they're going to work for $150 an hour, that's an agreed upon amount. There should be an agreed signed contract stating that. That also needs to be uploaded on your attachments prior to submitting to accounts payable department. You will not be able to complete this here without an attachment. So we'll go ahead and put an attachment in here, and you will submit this for approval. Once you submitted your supplier request for approval, it will go to the accounts payable department where it would be processed, completed, and approved. Once these steps have been completed and the supplier has been set up and approved to be purchased from, you will then receive a notification in your notifications area alerting you to the fact that the supplier is now an active supplier in the tenant and you're ready to use them to make purchases. The way you can tell that is, again, from your home screen here, you have this bell here, which are notifications. Click on your notifications, and over to the left here, you will notice it will say supplier, which is the one we're using, one-time returns. Your supplier request has been completed, and it even tells you the date and how long ago. Once you receive this notification here, that means that you are now ready to go ahead and submit a request for a requisition, and then this supplier will come up on the supplier list, and you're ready to make purchases. This concludes this video on how to create a supplier request.